Hi there, and welcome to the weekly Asylum and Immigration Reform Update, where I share with you 5 recent stories of interest to asylum seekers and those who want to stay current on immigration news. This week, we're discussing
Texas's border operation Hold the Line is causing injuries to migrants, prompting concern and condemnation, while also increasing tensions with Mexico and within U.S. law enforcement agencies. President Biden's new asylum restrictions, aimed at controlling border crossing, are facing a legal challenge for potentially violating domestic and international laws related to asylum seekers. New laws in several states are removing barriers that previously prevented DACA recipients from becoming police officers, sparking debate over non-citizens in law enforcement roles. Florida's recent anti-immigration law, which permits prosecutions for human trafficking and restricts driving and health services for undocumented immigrants, is being challenged as harmful, unconstitutional, and inconsistent with federal immigration authority. And the American Immigration Council reports that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has not fully adhered to President Biden's directive to prioritize deportation for migrants posing threats to public safety and national security.
I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. It's my pleasure to bring you asylum and immigration reform updates each week right here on the Political Asylum Lawyers YouTube channel. Okay, let's get to the news. First up,
Texas's aggressive border operation, known as Hold the Line, is injuring migrants and creating tensions. Officers have denied water to some migrants and ordered others to return to Mexico, resulting in increasing alarm among U.S. Border Patrol and the Texas Department of Public Safety. Brutal tactics include fortifying Rio Grande riverbanks with concertina wire, and in some cases not alerting federal Border Patrol agents to aid arriving groups. Incidents of migrants being injured by razor wire and heat exposure have led to widespread condemnation. This approach has also strained relations between state and federal law enforcement agencies and sparked international tension with Mexico. Texas officials argue that these tactics are a response to the Biden administration's weak border management. A confidential email from a Texas Department of Public Safety trooper suggests inhumane treatment of migrants under the initiative. The trooper alleges orders to push children into the Rio Grande and deny water to asylum seekers. He cites incidents of migrants, including children and a pregnant woman, injured by the state-installed razor wire and increased risk of drownings due to the obstacle.
And next up, for update number 2.
A federal judge will hear a challenge to Biden's new asylum restrictions, which require migrants to schedule appointments and make some automatically ineligible. The rules have reduced border crossings but left thousands waiting in poor conditions in Mexico. Advocates argue the policy violates federal and international law, allowing people fleeing persecution to request asylum upon reaching the United States. Officials defend the temporary policy as necessary to control the border, but migrants report being wrongly blocked from entering, and lawyers claim that the rules conflict with federal immigration law. The lawsuit raises questions about America's role as a refuge. Its outcome could reshape the fragile border calm and challenge protections created after World War II, when many fleeing the Nazis were turned away.
All right, time for our third immigration update.
Do you have DACA? Guess what? You could become a cop. New laws in several states are removing obstacles that have prevented some DACA recipients from becoming police officers. These dreamers were brought to the U.S. illegally as children, but have temporary legal status under DACA. Previously, requirements that officers be U.S. citizens prevented many from joining law enforcement. Now, states like New York, Oregon, and Virginia are passing laws to open up police jobs to non-citizens. Advocates say dreamers have valuable language and cultural skills to serve communities with large immigrant populations. However, some are concerned about having non-citizens in law enforcement roles typically reserved for citizens.
And moving right along, update number 4.
Several groups have filed a lawsuit against Florida's recent anti-immigration law, accusing it of causing harm to individuals' daily routines. The law, enacted by Governor Ron DeSantis, permits authorities to accuse individuals of human trafficking if they knowingly transport undocumented migrants across state borders. It also forbids undocumented immigrants from driving, even with a valid license from another state, and obliges Medicaid-receiving state hospitals to verify patients' immigration status. The plaintiffs argue that the law could interfere with the operations of federal immigration authorities, result in illegal arrests, and lead to undue harassment. Furthermore, they believe the law is unconstitutional, as it extends beyond federal immigration policies. DeSantis and his supporters argue the legislation sends a strong message to the Biden administration, which they accuse of not doing enough to stop unauthorized immigration.
And finally, our 5th immigration update for this week.
A report from the American Immigration Council reveals that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement disregarded President Biden's directive to prioritize deportation for migrants who pose threats to public safety and national security. The report found that about a third of ICE arrests between February and November 2021 targeted individuals who were not considered security risks. Additionally, half of ICE's requests to hold migrants, known as detainers, were carried out against individuals who were not deemed security threats. The report suggests that ICE's compliance with the new guidelines remains uncertain, and data collection on enforcement actions is crucial for oversight. The Supreme Court recently ruled in favor of the Biden administration's enforcement guidelines, which faced opposition from states like Texas and Louisiana.
And that wraps up this week's immigration news. If you want to win asylum in the United States, then you should call my office today. That number is 713-352-1593. We help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you are. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your immigration journey.